In a world that values complexity, it is easy to overlook the power of simplicity. We assume that the more options we have, the more creative we will be. But what if it's actually the opposite? What if limitations are not a boundary, but a catalyst? Nature uses limitations as a breeding ground to develop its strengths. Evolution only moves forwards because something resists it. Without challenge, deficiency, or constraint, there would be nothing to adapt to, and no reason to evolve. The I Ching, or Book of Changes, is an ancient Chinese classic, used both as a philosophical text and a symbolic map of transformation. Written over 3,000 years ago, its entire system is built from just 2 lines. A solid line, representing yang, or activity, light, and the energy of assertion, and a broken line, representing yin, or receptivity, shadow, and the action of yielding. From these 2 elements, combined in patterns of 6, we get 64 hexagrams, each a symbolic configuration reflecting a situation, a state of change, or a moment in life. Now fast forward to the 17th century, and we meet Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, a German polymath who, among other things, formalized the binary number system, a system using only ones and zeros. It would go on to form the foundation of all modern computing. Leibniz saw a connection between his binary code and the I Ching. He was struck by the idea that all numbers, and by extension all meaning, could be represented through just 2 opposing symbols, yin and yang, or 0 and 1. This raises a beautiful and profound question. How can systems with only 2 symbols give rise to infinite complexity? Well, duality is not division, it's fertility. At first glance, duality looks like limitation, black or white, yes or no, on or off. But in truth, duality is the birthplace of pattern. One has no meaning without the other. It's not about choosing one over the other, it's about relationship. Yin doesn't exist without yang. 0 means nothing without 1. The tension between the 2 poles creates movement, rhythm, contrast. This is how meaning begins. Night and day bring no real change to a landscape other than the absence or presence of light. The dance between opposites is at the root of all cycles, and it gives rise to growth and variation. Duality isn't a fork in the road, it's the weaving of the road itself. In the I Ching, 6 lines of yin and yang can generate 64 unique hexagrams. In binary, 6 bits can form 64 unique numbers. The structure is simple, the outcomes are vast. This is the magic of minimal systems. They leave space for emergence. Because the rules are few, the patterns that arise are not fixed. They evolve, shift, and transform. That's why the I Ching is not just a book of static truths. It's a mirror of change. Like binary, it doesn't tell you what is, but shows you the trend of how everything is moving. There's a lesson here for more than just philosophers and engineers. In art, poetry, music, even in daily life, we often think we need more choices to be free. But freedom isn't always about options. Sometimes it's about clarity. When a poet chooses to write in haiku, or a poem with just 17 syllables, the form becomes a channel, not a cage. When a painter uses only black and white, contrast becomes drama. When a coder writes with ones and zeros, they build the internet, artificial intelligence, and worlds we couldn't have imagined, all from 2 symbols. Duality isn't the end of thought, it's the beginning of it. The I Ching shows us that 2 lines can encompass the universe. Binary shows us that 2 digits can run it. And both remind us that creation thrives not despite limits, but because of them. So when you find yourself faced with a choice, a simple yes or no, a fork in your life path, remember, it's not just a split, it's a spark, a chance for something to unfold. 2 is not just a number, it's a relationship, a rhythm, a possibility. And from it, everything flows.